What is up? What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Hope y'all are doing well. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy football Saturday. And guys, we got some stuff to talk about, okay? We got some stuff to talk about in today's stream because we had games 3 happen yesterday between the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty, as well as the Minnesota Lynx versus the Connecticut Sun. And we are going to discuss those things in this stream. So I hope y'all are ready because I didn't watch the games live because I went to watch the Joker, which got a lot of thoughts about that. So if y'all want to hear me talk about my thoughts about the Joker, let me know and I'll get into it. But because I was at the Joker last night, I did not watch the games live, but I did watch them this morning. And I got a lot of thoughts. Got a lot of thoughts about what happened in these games. And let's collectively kind of talk about it together. Okay. First of all, in the Las Vegas Aces versus New York Liberty game, the tides turned, right? We heard that the team lacked edge. That was something that Becky Hammon had talked about a couple times this year. That's something that she talked about at the end of game 2. And she really used the post-game presser as a way to really embarrass and rev up her team. Now, Coach Becky Hammon is a very smart lady, very, very smart lady. And, her mentioning players in commercials and saying that they lack an edge and whatnot. That was meant, sure, for the media, whatever, but that was meant for her teammate. That was meant for her players. That's what that was meant for. It was meant for her players to really get them into it. Okay, hey, y'all can't be messing up like this. We actually need to play hard. This is not a time for finesse. This is a time to go and get the W. And if we got to foul out, we got to foul out. Y'all need some edge. Y'all need some toughness. Y'all need some grit. And y'all need to get it together. And guess what? Her team got it together. Ultimately, the Las Vegas Aces they end up beating the New York Liberty. The final score was 95-81. Now, let's get into this game. So there was, as Becky Hammon was saying, there really was a lack of edge for this Las Vegas Aces team, and they did get it back yesterday, which was good. And it first started off with this, guys. This is a graphic of really the crazy pressure that this team started off the game with. We saw the New York Liberty get swarmed throughout this game defensively. And to me, that really did turn the tide for the Las Vegas Aces. First of all, we came into this game thinking, okay, well, the Las Vegas Aces are going to have a phenomenal game in order to win this game. And they did. I specifically want to talk about their defense because to me, that's what it started with. It started with fantastic defense and then it moved over to their offense. Defensively, the way that the Las Vegas Aces started off this game was masterful. Okay? Absolutely masterful. And the reason why I say it was masterful is because it was the way that they were playing Sabrina Ionescu. Sabrina Ionescu was getting swarmed. When off of screening actions, they were hedging. They were trying to double as much as they could. They were sending multiple defenders and bumping every single time. They were all up in Sabrina's grill, and to me, that was the big difference in this game. You were able to frustrate Sabrina Ionescu early, and ultimately, she didn't really do anything. And when you want to defeat a team, what do? You go to the point guard, and you take out their point guard, and that is exactly what the Las Vegas Aces did yesterday. I thought it was masterful. I really did. Now, in that sort of first quarter, I will say that the New York Liberty still ended up having a really good quarter, right? It ended up having a good half in general. But I would say the defensive pressure that this Aces team started off with was something that it was something that really did tire out this New York Liberty team in the second half. And we really saw the consequences in the second half of the defensive intensity, okay? That was something that was absolutely huge. And I wanted to just start off the conversation by talking about defense first, because I really do think that's where it started. It started with defense, and then everything just sort of like went into play. All right, let's continue on. Now, let's see what y'all got to say in the comments. Frank says that he just came back from seeing the Joker. Did you like it? I didn't like it at all. But we could talk about that if y'all want to. But I got lots of thoughts about that movie. Anyway. Belinda says, I'm glad the Aces won. The adjustments made was the difference. Yeah. And it wasn't just defensively, but defensively I thought was huge for them. And the guards also showed up, which we're gonna go through the guards for the Aces and talk about them. CAC says, I also think Stokes being out helped the Aces. I think they would have won game 2 without her. Maybe in the rotations. I don't really see how Kia Stokes made that much of a difference. Her being in or out made much of a difference. L says they gauged Sabrina finally. They gauged Sabrina finally like they did Caitlin Clark. You mean they swarmed her? I mean, that's just a smart thing to do. That's something that any smart team would do. if you have a PG that's cooking, right? That's what you would do. Terry says, I was waiting for you last night. Happy to see you. Yeah, I went to see the Joker, which consider wisely before spending your money to go to see the Joker. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's talk about this game, and let's talk about the X factor, because the X factor for sure was the defense. For sure. And then also, y'all, the guards were doing their thing in this game, and it started with Chelsea Gray. Y'all, Chelsea Gray was in her bag. They were sort of talking about her and how she changed her footwear a little bit, and I think that clearly it has been a help for her and her team. Chelsea Gray, she's got more in her bag yesterday for sure. She finished with 10 points, 7 assists. Y'all, when Chelsea Gray is doing them crazy passes, not only is that impressive, and not only does that give her an assist, but it also pumps up the rest of the team. And I'm just like, sometimes I was just like, man. There was this one pass which I wish I had the video for it, but there was this one pass where I was like, she like threw it behind 2 people and just passed it in there, and I was like, how in the world she do that? How in the world did Chelsea Gray just get that pass off? I am just saying, y'all, Chelsea Gray. When she starts to cook early, when she starts to get involved early, when she starts to make things happen for her team early, it's a good recipe. And it wasn't just Chelsea Gray, y'all. All the guards did their thing in this game, including Jackie Young. Jackie Young, I thought, had a really good game too. She had a fantastic game 3 as well. Had 24 points in the game, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Y'all, Jackie Young is a player that, she did go through a lull during the season, right? She went through a lull where she just wasn't that effective, right? But y'all, she's back. She is absolutely making a huge difference for her team. She is being aggressive, both on the offensive and defensive end, and that is exactly what this team needs. This team, it's not yes, you have the best player in the world on your team, A'ja Wilson, but at the same time, in order for you to win, you need everybody else to show up and show out, and that is exactly what happened yesterday. That's exactly what happened yesterday with the rest of the players for the Aces, and it wasn't just Chelsea Gray. It wasn't just Jackie Young. It was also Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum, I thought, had a fantastic game 3, and this is exactly what they needed her to do. You need her to make an impact early. And that's what she did. Kelsey Plum was active. She was engaged. And when she's like that, you have a good chance, if you're the Las Vegas Aces, of making some serious noise. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened in this game. And when you're thinking about this team, again, it really does start with the guards. Chelsea Gray leading the charge, passing the ball around, whipping that thing around. It's Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum hitting key 3-pointers, right? It's them getting to the bucket. It's them finding their teammates. Kelsey Plum, 20 points in today's game. Guys, it's been a while. It's been a good while since we last saw Kelsey Plum have a really good series of games, right? She had a really good game 2 in the first round versus Seattle. In game 1, she had a really good game in this series versus New York. Game 2, she was basically a non-factor. Game 3, she was back. 20 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds for KP. She was in her bag. She was in her bag, and that was absolutely huge. Tiff Hayes, I did want to just shout out Tiff Hayes. Tiffany Hayes, as I predicted, did win the Sixth Woman of the Year award. That is something that is a huge honor. Like Tiff Hayes, if Tiff Hayes is on any other team in the WNBA, she's starting. Just about any other team in the WNBA, Tiffany Hayes is starting. For the Las Vegas Aces, she comes off the bench. She won Sixth Player of the Year. I thought it was between her and Phee, and she did win that. I thought she played well in this game. And the thing that I liked about Tiff Hayes is Tiff Hayes was aggressive. Tiffany Hayes finished the game with 4 fouls, right? And she earned every single one of those. Earned every single one of those fouls because that's what her team needed her to do. Her team needed her to be very, very, very aggressive. Okay? They needed her to be very, very aggressive. And that's what she was. She did add some points in there, 11 points. Played some pretty decent defense. 4 fouls in the game. And I thought that was a huge difference. Not only was Tiffany Hayes sort of like all the way, aggressive in terms of defense, but also we saw Alicia Clark really aggressive too. Alicia Clark ended up getting not fouled out. She also had 4 fouls in yesterday's game, and again, it just showed a difference. Early in the game, we saw Alicia Clark and Tiffany Hayes in foul trouble, both of them. And the thing about it is that you want, as a team going into game 3, You're down 2-0. If you lose, you're out. You're at home. No need to worry about fouls. Nah, go out there, play aggressive. Give it all you got. Give them as many bumps as you can. And I believe in one of the interviews with Holly, Becky Hammond kind of talked about that and was basically like, hey, like this is when it all matters. There's no need to be soft now. No, we need to be aggressive. Be aggressive and play that hard defense. And yes, we'll get fouls, and that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about that. You'd rather get fouled out in a game 3 when your back's against the wall than trying to avoid getting fouls and lose. So I thought they were very, very aggressive in this one. And of course, as usual, A'ja Wilson is A'ja Wilson. I picked this photo because I just like the photo. I thought it was a nice photo. Y'all, a quick side note about all the celebs there yesterday. It was a lot of players there. It was a whole lot of players there. It was like the whole Dallas. There's like a lot of Dallas Mavericks folks in the building. Kyrie and Jason Kidd and whatnot. We also had Shedeur in the building, of course, Mark Davis. I did see Mark Davis and Shedeur talk a little bit to each other, which is kind of funny to me because I was like, hey, who knows? Maybe Shedeur may be playing for the Raiders. Who knows? Who knows what happened? Floyd Money Mayweather was there. A lot of celebs were in the building yesterday. But A'ja Wilson, guys, continues to be A'ja Wilson. She didn't have like as much of a dominant game, mainly because she didn't get to the free throw line as much as we normally see her. A'ja Wilson is a player who gets fouled quite a bit. Yesterday, the refs held their whistle a little bit. She ultimately did finish with 19 points in the game, 14 rebounds as well. I thought she played well. And the thing that I liked about the Aces is game 2, it felt like the Aces were making a concerted effort to get the guards involved early, which meant that in the first half of game 2, A'ja Wilson, I believe, only had like 4 field goals in the first half of game 2. But for game 3, you first started off with A'ja Wilson, getting her the basketball early, having her do that little jab step, and then got the jumper, right? You look at her sort of at the beginning of the game, another jumper. She had the first 4 points for the Aces, and then she comes back eventually and ends up making a 3-point shot. Right, so 7 quick points for A'ja Wilson, and to me, that really did set the tone for this team. It set the tone because the guards needed A'ja Wilson to start off the game being A'ja Wilson, and they needed to have that defensive intensity so that they can all get going, right? So that allows Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, right? It allows them to get shots up, right? When the other team is like, oh crap, A'ja Wilson's cooking. What are we gonna do? And then, okay, let's help a little bit more. And then they're gonna start hitting those baskets. That's what happens. One of the things that was a huge issue in game 2 was points in the paint, specifically layups. The New York Liberty barely got anything easy in yesterday's game. They barely got anything easy. And that is exactly what you wanted. Sabrina Ionescu did not score until the second half, guys. It just shows how much of a defensive juggernaut the Las Vegas Aces were yesterday, right? Defense is something that they could always play defense. But in this series, they hadn't. They showed that they were not able to stop the New York Liberty in the series so far. But game 3, they showed out and made a huge difference for their team. For the New York Liberty, I should say, we saw this team struggle. They struggled to shoot. They struggled to make stuff happen. Ultimately, Brianna Stewart, she did have a pretty decent game, I would say. 19 points, 6 rebounds in it. Sabrina Ionescu, struggle fest. 4 points. 4 points, 5 assists. She couldn't really get much going at all. Her shot wasn't falling, she wasn't even getting good looks in general. And when she did get good looks, it seemed like she was so tired and so like thinking that it was, oh man, someone's going to come out of nowhere and block this shot or do something, that she ends up missing, even when she did have good looks, because of the way that the Aces swarmed to start off the bat. If you swarm the New York Liberty, get them tired early, get Jonquel Jones out the game because of foul trouble. And Jonquel Jones, yeah, she was in foul trouble throughout the entire game. In this one, she ultimately did have 4 fouls. She did not foul out, but there were significant times in the game where she couldn't be out there. She couldn't be out there because of foul trouble. And you know, that sort of frustration that this team had it was felt by everybody, right? Sabrina, frustrated because of the defense. So even when she got easy shots, she couldn't make them. Jonquel Jones, frustrated because of the fouls that she was committing, and the fact that she thought she was getting fouled, and they wasn't really calling nothing on that either. We saw, Courtney Vandersloot get pissed and mad. There was a crazy run that the Las Vegas Aces had in the third quarter. Third quarter, 21 points for Las Vegas, 6 for the New York Liberty. 6 guys. 6 points for the New York Liberty in the third quarter. Crazy. Okay? And to me, the thing that sort of summed up the game for the New York Liberty was the fact that Courtney Vandersloot, the lady who rarely gets technicals, had a technical in yesterday's game. And you want to know the reason why? You want to know the reason why Courtney Vandersloot had a technical? It wasn't the fact that she was pushed, which sure, it was a hand on her. She wasn't really pushed, guys. Like that's my personal opinion is that wasn't really a push. But in the third quarter, the Las Vegas Aces, they absolutely dominated, guys. We started off the third quarter. The score was 49 New York Liberty, 52 Las Vegas. Okay, 49-52, close game. Anyone's ball game. Yes, the Aces were playing really good defense and whatnot, but the Liberty were still in it. They were still in it at halftime. Okay, started the third quarter, 49 Liberty, 52 Las Vegas. And what happens? Asia Wilson, bucket. Jackie Young, bucket. You see Kelsey Plum, bucket. Chelsea Gray, 3-point shot. Right. Like, and you just see the Aces scoring. Fast forward towards the end of the third quarter, the score is 53 New York Liberty, 69 for the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces, they just score. The Liberty were missing shots left and right. They were turning over the basketball. They were committing stupid fouls. And it got to the point where the Liberty, they hadn't scored. Guys, the Liberty had not scored in about, they haven't scored in about 6 minutes. 6 minutes of play, the Liberty hadn't scored. Leonie Phoebus hit a 3-point shot, and that was about it. They hadn't scored from 8 minutes to about 1 minute and 30 because they were making mistakes, missing shots, all that stuff. All right, let me set the scene. We got Courtney Vandersloot with a basketball. She has the basketball. We have Kelsey Plum on her. Kelsey Plum, they inbound the basketball. Ball goes to Courtney Vandersloot. Kelsey Plum has her arm extended. She does have her arm on Courtney Vandersloot. Courtney is like, I'm gonna sell this foul so she can get a foul because we need something to happen. So I'm gonna sell this and try to get the refs to call this as a foul. So she tries to sell it. She stumbles back. The refs call a travel on Courtney Vandersloot. And Courtney is pissed. Courtney Vandersloot is pissed, guys. She is pissed because she's like, come on, that was a foul. And the camera pans to Kelsey Plum interacting with the kid, which is very, very cute. A kid that was sitting on the front row. That kid got some rich parents, I'm just saying. But we see Kelsey Plum interacting with the kid, and then you hear the whistle blow, and then the camera pans over, and we see Courtney Vandersloot get a tech. So I'm not sure exactly what she said, but she was clearly really, really upset that she was called for the travel instead of getting the foul called on Kelsey Plum. Was it a foul? Technically, yes. The refs didn't call it. Courtney Vandersloot, it wasn't that call that really made Courtney Vandersloot get that tech. It was the fact that the Liberty literally couldn't do anything for about 6 minutes. 6 minutes of nothingness on offense for the New York Liberty. And they were just frustrated. And so that to me was really the thing that caused that technical that, Courtney was just mad at the whole situation. Mad at the entire situation. Instead of that particular play. Like, yeah, sure. Technically, was that a foul? Technically, yes. But at the same time, that would have been a really, really ticky-tack call. So I get why the refs didn't call it. I really do. But she was pissed because her team was just playing bad. And they weren't getting the benefit of the doubt of some of those calls. And so that's all. That's what that was. That really is what that was. So Kelsey Kelsey Plum ends up fouling Courtney Vandersloot, but they don't call a foul. They call a tech on Courtney. Kelsey has a good time interacting with the kid on the front row. Makes her free throw for the technical. So, and then right after that, in the subsequent play, Tiffany Hayes gets the ball to Kelsey Plum. What does Kelsey Plum do? 3-point basket. So that was a really good sequence for Kelsey Plum. She got away with the foul. She got one of the calmest people in the league to lose her cool. She made the technical free throw, and she got a 3-point bucket. I'm just saying, y'all. KP was winning yesterday. She was winning. She was winning. All right, y'all got some super chats. Let me get to them. Let me get to y'all super chats. Frank. So Frank has some thoughts about the Joker. I do too, Frank. I do too. Frank says he was in jail the whole time and it was a musical. Yeah, it was. Guys, do y'all want to do a quick sidebar after this game is over? Do y'all want to do a quick sidebar about the Joker? Because I'm not happy about it, just like Frank is. So let me know if y'all want to actually. So we about to wrap up the talk about Aces versus Liberty, and we're gonna move over to Lynx versus Sun. But if y'all want to do a quick sidebar about the Joker, let me know. All right. De jour, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Saab got blitzed like we blitz Asia game 1. Well, facts. Yeah. She got blitzed. And the Liberty, it was clear that the Liberty were not ready for it. They clearly were not ready for it. And, when your backs are against the wall, you will hopefully play like you're supposed to play. And that is exactly what the Las Vegas Aces did. They played like they were supposed to play. And they got the dub because of it. They got the dub. The Liberty have to, 1, play better defense. 2, they have to figure out a way to get Sabrina some really, really good looks early in the game. And have to, like, when the Aces start swarming Sabrina, what do? What's your game? What's your second game plan? What's your third game plan? And for me, it really should be get the basketball to Brianna Stewart and Leonie Phee. If they make a lot, well, Stewie did score early in the game. However, but if they can really, really get going, the Aces will be forced to stop swarming Sabrina. All right, there were times where it was clear that two players were like keyed in to Sabrina Ionescu, because again, stop the point guard, you stop a lot of the play for the Liberty. But if you can rely on more scoring from Stewie and Phee early in the game, and not just giving the ball to Betnijah Laney and having her try to make something happen, right? If you're able to do that, you're going to force them to have to abandon their defensive structure. They didn't have to abandon it because nobody else was really doing stuff like that, right? Betnijah Laney Hamilton, 2 of 8 from the field. Brianna Stewart, 7 of 17. You don't have to really worry about it as much when you have the other players just sort of not hitting shots. So you can stay swarming her the entire game if you want to. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts about that game. What do y'all think? Let me know in the chat. Mike says Sabrina isn't the PG. Slew is. Sabrina should have the basketball in her hands early anyway. The way that the New York Liberty has seen a lot of success with Sabrina Ionescu as their starting point guard. So maybe in game 4 you have to switch that up, because it was successful in the first series against the Atlanta Dream. It was successful in game 1 and game 2. Game 3 not successful. Maybe in game 4, maybe you do switch it up. Maybe you do. Maybe you do switch it up and say, okay, Leonie Phee, come off the bench. Sabrina, you're a 2 guard. Courtney Vandersloot, let's bring it home. Like maybe you do say that. But for sure there needs to be some adjustment. There needs to be some adjustment happening. Bro says, if JJ isn't in foul trouble, it's a different game. Well, facts. I think you're right. Yeah, facts. Do the Aces still win? Possibly. Do they win by as many points as they did? No. De Jour says, Becky said, cut the head off the snake, and that's what they did. Can't be mad. Kind of glad they did, because I thought they gave up on the series. Yeah, they did. They cut the head off the snake. You want to stop a team? Go after their point guard. That's how you stop a team. Because the point guard starts everything. They start everything. They start everything. That's what you got to do. And that's what this team did. And they have finally made it a series again. Now, do I think that the Las Vegas Aces can do the unthinkable and win the next 2 games and win the series? No. Ultimately, I think the series is going to end tomorrow, because the New York Liberty will, in my opinion, beat the Las Vegas Aces before game. They're going to win. Game 4 is going to be over because the New York Liberty will win, in my opinion. But we'll see. Raina says, Carolyn Peck said it before the game. Y'all, Carolyn Peck, she had a really good, really good sort of pep, sort of like a pep talk for the Indiana Fever before Game 3 against the Connecticut Sun. She had a really, really, really good, before Game 2 of the first series. She had a really, really good pep talk. And then yesterday, before the Las Vegas Aces played, Carolyn Peck had a really good pep talk. And so, y'all, she's really, really good at that. I mean, she was a coach for a reason. I'm just saying, won a national championship for a reason. Maybe we'll get back in the coaching. Maybe. She is, she's great. She's Carolyn Peck is awesome. Like, definitely at the top, at the tippy top of my favorite women's basketball commentators. Like, that lady knows ball. She knows her stuff. She really does. All right, let's continue on. All right, let's talk about the Minnesota Lynx getting the dub over the Connecticut Sun. Now, guys, the Aces versus Liberty game, it was all about the Las Vegas Aces having some swarming defense and really honing in on their assignments and winning the game first on defense and then on offense. For this game, for the Connecticut Sun versus Minnesota Lynx game, I was expecting a very, very close game. I was expecting it to be a slugfest, basically. That's what I was expecting in this game. It was the first two games are very hard fought, but ultimately that's not what we got. So final score, 90 points for the Minnesota Lynx, 81 for the Connecticut Sun. Now, let's get specifically into this game. So to me, this game is a result of bad defense and a team that just won't miss. That's what this was. This is a game that was extremely high scoring. Now, guys, if y'all don't believe me, that a game that the final score is 81-90, if y'all don't think that is high scoring, let me just go down the list of the games so far in the series. All right, let me go down the list. Game 2, it was 77-70. Lynx won. Game 1, it was 73-70. Connecticut Sun won. All right, we go back and take a look at the series with the Fever and the Sun. Right, the Fever don't score more than 81 points in both of those games. And in the first game of the series, they had 69 points. The only other time, you have to go back a while for the last time that a team scored 90 points on the Connecticut Sun. You got to go back. You got to go all the way back, guys, to September 1st, when Connecticut lost to the Seattle. When Connecticut ended up beating Seattle. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The last time that 90 points was scored on the Connecticut Sun was actually against the Wings, and that was August the 16th. That was the last time. August the 16th. That was the last time that a team scored 90 points or more against the Connecticut Sun. The reason why is because they are a very, very good defensive team that sits and they play defense the whole time. But that was not what we saw yesterday. We did not see the normal Connecticut Sun team. We didn't at all. We saw a team that on offense was scoring. They were scoring. The Connecticut Sun, they were scoring. However, they could not stop the Minnesota Lynx. And when you talk about Minnesota, we got to talk about certain people, right? We got to talk about Napheesa Collier. Napheesa Collier, it didn't matter who was on Napheesa Collier. It didn't matter. Whether it was Alyssa Thomas, whether it was DeWanna Bonner, whether it was Dejanay Carrington, whether it was Marina Mabrey, it did not matter really who you put on Napheesa Collier. She was able to make stuff happen and score. Ultimately, she did finish the game with 26 points. Huge for this team. 26 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists for this Minnesota Lynx team. And the thing that I love about watching Napheesa and the rest of her team play is it's just movement, constant flow, and it's seamless. When you watch this Minnesota Lynx team, when they are in their bag, they are playing fluid basketball. It's like it's not that much stoppage on offense. It's just someone's always moving, someone's always cutting, someone's always doing something. And that's what we were able to see in Game 3. And I would say in Game 1 and Game 2, especially in Game 1, it was something that the Connecticut Sun were able to really stop the movement for the Minnesota Lynx to a certain extent, right? And it made it harder for the Lynx to score, right? Their 3-point baskets weren't going in like that and whatnot, and they struggled. But for the Minnesota Lynx, what did they do? Someone has the ball, screen and roll action, move. Ball movement constantly. And it got them to get good shots. And it got them to get in the paint and score. And I'm just saying, yeah, I was like, man, it was beautiful basketball. It was beautiful basketball. Like it really is. It really is what I was thinking when I was watching that game. I was like, man, that's beautiful. Like it's the way the ball, it's fluid. It's constantly moving. They didn't really look like they were stuck in the game yesterday on offense. Because they weren't. Yeah, it's cool to see, man. It was cool to see. Ultimately, this team, they were able to make some stuff happen. And the thing that I thought was probably a bigger thing than their ability to get good looks is that they were hitting shots. Like they were hitting shots like crazy. They ultimately finished the game with shooting 57% from the field. But in other quarters, they were doing their thing, right? I believe at one point they were shooting like 60-something% at one point in the game. And that's hard. That's hard to go against. It is. When you're looking at a team that is playing good defense on you, and is a team that's not missing shots, it's hard to come back, y'all. It is very, very, very hard to come back. And so that's something that this team has to figure out. They got to figure that out because you're not gonna. Yeah, it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough for the Connecticut Sun because this team was firing on all cylinders. And it's crazy. Oh, it was the second quarter. That's what it was. It was the second quarter. The Minnesota Lynx shot 61% from the field. 61%. And guys, yes, Napheesa Collier was in her bag. She was in her bag, but it wasn't just her, y'all. It was also Courtney Williams, guys. Courtney Williams, man. Courtney Williams was on fire yesterday. She was on fire. And guys, they showed her dad in the stands. And I think that probably was a huge motivator for her to kill, because yes, when we think about Courtney Williams, you think about the mid-range assassin, right? She gonna get those mid-range shots, but she was also getting to the bucket in Game 3. She was getting to the bucket and getting really, really, really good looks. Ultimately, Courtney Williams finished the game with 16 points, 8 assists, very, very close to that double-double. Y'all, she was fire. She was absolutely fire. Not only was she passing, she was shooting a basketball. And it was cool to see. But yeah, her dad was in the building, so I think that also severely helped her ability to just sort of cook. Yeah. Vera says Courtney fits well at Minnesota. She does. She really does. She really, really does. De Jour has a super chat. Thank you so much, De Jour, for the super chat. Says that moment when you realize that New York has nobody to guard Phee, you start rooting for the Sun. Yeah, I mean, yeah, y'all don't have nobody. Y'all don't have nobody that can guard a Phee. Nah. I mean, Stewie could try. But it's gonna be hard, because if Alyssa Thomas cannot shut down Napheesa Collier, Stewie don't have a chance. Like I don't think Stewie has a chance. Stewie could try to outscore her, and just go pound for pound offense versus offense, but I don't think can stop her on defense. She could try. She could try. But yeah, man. But yeah, it was kind of crazy, and not just was it Napheesa Collier. It was Courtney Williams. It was also Bridget Carlton. Bridget Carlton finished the game yesterday, 12 points, 6 rebounds in the game. This team, Alana Smith, 7 points in the game. She ultimately did get fouled out. Alana Smith seems to always be getting fouled out, man. She's a really good player. I like Alana Smith a lot, but sometimes she be a little bit too foul happy. She, yeah, she does get foul happy sometimes, but yeah, she got fouled out. Kayla McBride had 13 points in the game, 5 assists. She also had a really, really nice assist, Kayla McBride. I gotta find the clip of that and share it on Twitter or something, because she had a really, really nice dump off pass. But this team, the Minnesota Lynx, the thing that makes them so dangerous is that it's not just one person that can cook you. The whole team is going to cook you. All right? Yeah, the head of everything is Napheesa Collier, but everybody in the starting lineup was doing anything. You have four of the 5 starters in double figures. They shoot very, very efficiently. They get some second chance points. It's hard to beat a team like that. It is. And we clearly saw it was yesterday for the Connecticut Sun. Stan the fanboy says, I ain't gonna lie, we wasn't scared of nobody except the Lynx. I mean, the Lynx is a scary team because they don't look scary. They're a team that can play defense, and they're a team that can shoot. If you got both of those, it's kind of hard. And everybody knows their role, and they don't have bad games like other teams. They don't have. So for example, let's look at the Aces, right? The Aces are a very talented team. In terms of pound for pound shooters, yeah, I would say the Aces has a better roster, has better shooters. But the Aces don't have the consistency that the Minnesota Lynx has, right? In terms of their personnel's ability to just generally always make an impact. And that's something that, other teams, they don't really have like that. You have the combination of shooters who can shoot on all levels, 3-point, mid-range, in the post. And you also have defense. The best defense in the league. And when you combine that together, it's pound for pound, it's hard. It's hard to go against the Minnesota Lynx, even though they are not crazy flashy or anything, but they will push the pace. And I thought pace was also a huge factor in yesterday's game. It got to the point where it was clear that the Connecticut Sun were gassed. They were gassed. They were tired because of the pace. It was ball movement and pace was the Minnesota Lynx. That's what it was. That's exactly what this was. Exactly what it was. And it's hard to stop. It is hard to stop. Oh, thanks, Tree Limbs. I appreciate that. Is that a bird? Is that an emu as your profile photo? But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Spurs Annis is mad at the Olympics. All of our starters were all in France. Yeah, I mean your players were in France. Yeah. But it is a good sign that KP and Jackie Young are doing their thing right now. That's a good sign. And Chelsea Gray. Carmela says, I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but we really got to see so many players this year really shine with trades and moving to new teams and just thriving. It's been nice to watch. Facts. I mean, guys, think about it this way. 2 of the starters for the Minnesota Lynx, Alana Smith and Courtney Williams, they were both on the Chicago Sky last year, right? Maisha Hines-Allen for the Minnesota Lynx. She was on the Washington Mystics at the beginning of the season. Tiffany Hayes at the beginning of the season was retired from the WNBA. Marina Mabry, we gonna get into her in a sec, but she was on the Chicago Sky at the beginning of the season. We have seen a lot of movement, and it's working out for a lot of these players that have moved to different teams. All right, let's get into the Connecticut Sun, because I thought Connecticut on the offensive end played well. They played on the offensive end. Defensively, they were not good at all. But offensively, they were scoring. Brianna Jones is back, guys. Brianna Jones is a player who this lady has struggled. She has struggled for basically the entire playoffs. Brianna Jones has struggled to score, but she's back. She's back, y'all. And she had the most points of the postseason yesterday with 21 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. She shot pretty efficiently as well. She was doing her thing. She was doing her thing on the offensive end. Defensively is another story, but offensively, she was absolutely doing her thing in the game. It's been a while. It's been a long while, almost a whole month since the last time we saw Brianna Jones go into the 20-point range. Yesterday, she was scoring. Because again, scoring was not an issue for the Connecticut Sun. That was not their problem. Their problem was defense. Their problem was not scoring. The problem was defense. But Brianna Jones, she got back in her bag. The hope is if the Connecticut Sun wants to win Game 4, you have to have Brianna Jones have another really good game on the offensive end, and we need to see more from her on the defensive end. We need to see more from her from defense, but you need for her to also stay in her bag on offense as well. So that's the thing. Dejanay Carrington, I thought Dejanay had a really good game on offense. Really, really good game. Especially early on in the game, it felt like Dejanay was like single-handedly sort of keeping Connecticut in it. It was her and Bonner, right? Dejanay ultimately had 13 points in yesterday's game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. She was in her bag. Yes. Did she shoot efficiently? No, she did not. She did not shoot efficiently, but she did score. She did find ways to score. Another player who I thought played well was DeWanna Bonner. DeWanna Bonner, 16 points on offense for the Connecticut Sun, 8 rebounds. Right, so she was in her offensive bag. She hit a couple 3-pointers. And also another fun fact about DeWanna Bonner is that DeWanna Bonner is second all time in playoff points. Second all time, guys. So we got Dinah Taurasi, of course, number 1 with 1,486 points in the playoffs, and DeWanna Bonner now has 1,150. So that was cool. That was cool to see, shout out to her. And of course, at third place, of course, we got Candace Parker, because Candace Parker is in everything when it comes to record books. But I did want to mention that. I did want to shout that out because I thought that was awesome. Shout out to DeWanna Bonner, because DeWanna really has been in the league for a long time. She has. Before she went to Connecticut, she was with the Phoenix Mercury. And the Mighty Mercury were doing a thing. It was her, it was Cappie Pondexter, and it was Dinah Taurasi. For some time. So I did want to specifically call that out as well. Also, guys, if y'all don't know, I've had people in the chat ask me if I could go, if I can make saying that I should make a membership for YouTube. I have. So channel memberships are now a thing. So if y'all want to join the channel, I do still have Patreon. So y'all can either join on Patreon or join as a YouTube channel member. You're gonna get a badge, and you're gonna get priority comments in the chat for future streams and all that stuff and whatnot. So if y'all want to join the channel, if y'all want to continue to financially support the channel, y'all can do that by joining either Patreon or joining YouTube memberships. Okay. And thank y'all in advance for that. Very, very, very much appreciate it. All right. Philip, thank you so much for the super chat. Philip says, keep putting in that work, Quita. I will. Thank you so much. Says Kelsey Plum, the Irish princess, gotta go 69 degrees in Oakland. I don't know what that means, but I assume that means that you automatically I assume that means you really like Kelsey Plum. But yeah, Kelsey Plum was in her bag. I don't know if that's like an Oakland reference or whatever, but yeah, I thought she did great. CAC, great question. I'm trying to figure that out. My hope is yes, that Patreon members will automatically become YouTube members. However, I am trying to figure that out. I believe that is possible. So if you are a member on Patreon, do not become a member on YouTube. Because I'm going to try to figure out how I can make you a member on YouTube. All right. Great question, though. Great question. Okay, let's continue on. Let's continue on to what I would say the biggest issue with the Connecticut Sun was yesterday. Yes, their defense was problematic, but the offensive firepower that they brought in, she was not able to really do anything. Guys, Myrna Mabry had a terrible, terrible game yesterday. Not in terms of points. She ends up with 14 points, but it was her inefficiency that was, yeah, it was terrible. It was not good. It was not good. She went 1 for 11 from 3. 1 for 11. Shooters shoot. And if a shooter's in a shooting slump, what should they do? They should continue shooting. And that's what she was trying to do. It took her a long time to get that one 3-point shot. Marina Mabrey is a player that the Connecticut Sun brought on the team for one reason. Because she can hit big time 3-point shots. That's why they brought her in. All right? That's why they brought her in. They brought her in so that she can hit big time shots when it mattered the most. Efficiency wise, yeah, she's not that efficient, right? She's like 30 something percent from the 3-point line for the season, right? She's not crazy efficient from the 3, but she knows how to shoot and hit big buckets, big 3-point shots. And this year for the Connecticut Sun, she has been doing that. So far, I mean, for the regular season, for the 16 games that she played with the Connecticut Sun this year, for those 16 games for the regular season, she averaged 42% from the field, from the 3-point line. So that was good, right? That was the best that she's done all like in her career. But yesterday we saw her not have legs. That was the issue, in my opinion. It wasn't the case that Minnesota was doing some crazy defense against her. That was not the case. It wasn't. Yes, did Minnesota play some decent defense against Marina Mabrey? Yes, they did. But Marina was getting good looks at times. She was getting good looks. The problem was she didn't have any legs and would hit the front of the rim or be flat with her shot. That was the issue. That was the issue. And in order for this team to win, if they're not going to play defense, they really do need Marina Mabrey to hit those shots. Like that's key. It's critical. It is absolutely critical. Absolutely critical. And she didn't have her legs. All the shots were flat, front of the rim. That's about it. It was a legs issue. She was tired. That's what that was. And the lack of having a healthy Ty Harris, it took its toll, and we saw it in Game 3. All right, Ty Harris, if y'all didn't know, she messed up her ankle in the first couple minutes of Game 1 in the series. She was out all Game 2. She did make an appearance in Game 3, though she barely played. She does have a brace on her ankle to help stabilize it and allow her the ability to play. But she's not that mobile right now. So she only played 6 minutes, I believe, all in the second half of yesterday's game. And the fact that this Connecticut Sun team, they don't have another starting option besides Marina Mabrey, it makes them struggle. When we saw Marina Mabrey play her best, a lot of times since she's been with the Connecticut Sun, a decent amount of time when she's had those really good games, she's come off the bench, guys. In those games, she's come off the bench. We would see Ty Harris in the starting lineup at the starting point guard, and Marina would come off the bench and light it up. She can absolutely light it up as a starter, but it seems to take her some time to get going. And if she's playing, close to 40 minutes a game, she's dog tired. Her legs are not under her. And so her shots are just short. Now we'll see about tomorrow how many minutes Ty Harris will play. And also, we will see if Connecticut wants to make a change in the starting lineup. Now, this is going to be a radical suggestion. Very, very radical suggestion. So don't flame me in the comments. But I'm going to give a suggestion to Coach Stephanie White. Out of the box suggestion. Stephanie White. I recommend making a change to your starting lineup for Game 4. Here's what I recommend. I recommend starting Veronica Burton. Now you may say, why are you starting Veronica Burton? That makes no sense. I say start Veronica Burton because Ty Harris doesn't seem well enough to start. If she is well enough to start Ty Harris. Marina Mabrey does not need to start. Have her come off the bench. You need to have her come off the bench. I'm saying Veronica Burton because Ty Harris doesn't look like she's all the way back. Veronica Burton, she's a point guard, right? She can play point. She can pass the ball around. She can give a break to Alyssa Thomas a little bit from being the PG, and it will allow Marina Mabrey the opportunity to come into the game against the bench players of the Minnesota Lynx, and it allows her to get going faster. Now, is Veronica Burton a player that's going to give you a bunch of points? No, she's not. She's not. But she is going to, for the most part, take care of the basketball. She's going to pass it around. She's not going to be much of a liability, right? Veronica Burton can pass the ball. She can play defense. That's all they need her to do to start. And I'm not saying just because she starts that I am not saying that she should play a bunch of minutes. No. I'm saying start her. Maybe she ultimately finishes the game playing around 15 or so minutes or something like that. But start her at the beginning of the first quarter. Then bring in Marina Mabrey either once the starters for Minnesota are a little bit tired or they start to bring in their subs. Then you get Marina Mabrey going. Marina Mabrey still plays close to 30 minutes in the game. She'll still play a lot of minutes, but she just won't start because I really do feel like one of the things that has really been the difference for Marina Mabrey and her abilities to score is her coming off the bench for the Connecticut Sun. And I really do think that either it's Veronica Burton or Ty Harris is back and is able to play significant minutes. Either way, Marina Mabrey needs to come off the bench for the Connecticut Sun. That's my take, and I know that's probably a wild take for some of y'all. So let's see what y'all got to say in the comments. Let's see how hard y'all going against me. But I really do think that Veronica Burton, she's not a crazy scorer. They don't need that. They don't need a crazy scorer to sort of just start off as the point guard. You need to buy some time for Marina to come off the bench and light it up. That's what you need. And that's what Veronica Burton will do because she's not a liability. She's not. She's not going to score a bunch, and that's fine. And that's fine. Mike says Burton ain't a scorer. I'm not sure about that, Quita. She's not. But you don't need a scorer. You need a point guard that can start off the game well, that can pass the ball, that can not turn over the ball, that can play defense. That's what you need. Our dog says start Burton. Yeah, that surprised me. I know it's a little bit out there. I know it's a little bit out there. I know it is. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about the Liberty. Lindy says AT 3-pointers, 3-point shooters have to get in a rhythm. Carmela says Marina Mabrey shines with the sun. She has never been someone who can run the floor at a high octave for a long time. She is good from the 3, but can be streaky. She's not that girl when it comes to defense. Well, yeah. Zola says Mabrey cannot handle the pressure of starting the game. She needs to go back to the bench. Mabrey can handle the pressure of starting the game. I just think that she plays better off the bench. Because even in the other games in the series, or even in some of the other games in the playoffs, Marina Mabrey, even when she scored a boatload of points, usually it's not right at the top of the game. Usually it's not right at the top of the game. It's after some sort of break, after some sort of timeout, or they take her out the game for a hot second, she comes back in, or at the end of a half, or something like that. Like, Marina Mabrey usually does not start off a game really cooking. Not really. You know, even if she starts, it's usually when she starts the game, ends up coming on the bench, comes back in, and then starts to get on the streak. Because she is a streaky player. She is. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to me, I think what you need to do is you need to optimize the players on the court at certain times. For game 4, Mabrey on the bench. If you're like, oh, what about scoring? You got DeWanna Bonner. Get that ball to DeWanna Bonner. Have her. Hey, DeWanna Bonner, you love to be at the 3-point line? Okay, 3-point line. Go ahead and go. Pass it down low to Brianna Jones. Give and have AT sort of facilitate. Give the ball to Dejanay Carrington, who can kind of do a little bit of everything. I don't think this Connecticut Sun team needs Marina Mabrey to start the game. They don't. They need her to bring firepower off the bench. That's what they need. That's what they need. Because her legs are fresher. To me, it just makes sense. Now, I know not everybody agrees with that, and that is absolutely okay. But that is my suggestion. If Stephanie White was listening, that's what I would tell her. But guys, Stephanie White that's a coaching mind right there. I tell you that. I tell you that. That is a coaching mind right there. Stan says exactly. She's usually more explosive later in the game. Yeah, she is. Marina Mabrey don't really score in the first quarter like that. She don't go off like that in the first quarter. It's usually later in the game. Or if it is in the first quarter, it's later in the first quarter. It's not the first several minutes. It's not the sort of necessary sort of starter, first 5 minutes of the game. She's not doing that. She's not dominating in the first 5 minutes of a game. No, so bring her off the bench. Sure, could that be an ego blow or something like that, and maybe you have to manage that? Maybe, but Marina Mabrey wants to win, so that's my recommendation. Okay, that is my recommendation, but we'll ultimately see what this team does. The answer says Quita is right about tired legs. Less minutes by coming off the bench will help. I really do think it'll help. I really do. I really, really do. Double R says Connecticut going home tomorrow. Maybe they will be going home tomorrow. Maybe they will. We'll see. Either way, it'll be fun. Either way, it'll be really, really fun. I'm excited about the games tomorrow. I will be covering them live, so that's something to note. I will be covering those games live. All right. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, I will have those games. I'll be doing the play-by-play calls for those games tomorrow. So make sure y'all come back to this channel tomorrow as we actually talk through those games, because it's going to be very, 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 very fun. All right. So my prediction. Also, I gave a recommendation for the Connecticut Sun. Now let me give a recommendation for the Minnesota Lynx. Number 1, Minnesota Lynx, please. Sharif, figure out a way to keep Alana Smith on the court and not in foul trouble and not fouled out the game. The reason why I say that is because this team, I feel they play at their optimum when you have Alana Smith in the game. And the more she gets in foul trouble, the more it's an issue. Now, in today's game, because I watched the game today. In yesterday's game, it wasn't that much of an issue, right? Because when she got fouled out, they still they were cooking, right? So it wasn't much of an issue. But if the Connecticut Sun makes the adjustments that I believe they will make, you're going to need Alana Smith in the game. Keep this girl in the game. And the way you do that is by playing Dorka Juhas more. You have to play Dorka Juhas more. Earlier in the game, not just towards the end of the game. Play Dorka Juhas in the first half and in the first quarter, to be honest with you. This is Dorka Juhas is a player who I think has made crazy strides. She is a really good player off the bench for Minnesota. I do believe she gives really good minutes. She is not a liability. So in my opinion, Sharif, play Dorka Juhas more and save Alana Smith for her to actually close out a game. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Because it's not like Dorka Juhas is going to come in the game and be a liability. She's not. She's going to play good defense, and as good of defense as she can. She's going to pass the ball around. She's going to score. All right. But Alana Smith is critical for this team. She's critical for this team, and you need her on the court. So do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you have to do to keep Alana Smith from getting fouled out. All right? She has 2 fouls in the first half. Sit her the rest of the half. 2 fouls at the end of the first quarter. Don't let her play at all in the second quarter. Because she will get that third foul. And she ultimately will get fouled out. Okay? So that's my thing. Play Dorka Juhas more minutes. All right? That's my opinion. That's my opinion there. And ultimately, the Minnesota Lynx is the better team. Ultimately, I do think they're going to come out the series with the win. But I do think that the Connecticut Sun will take Game 4. All right. I don't think that they will lose both of their home games. Like I see them winning Game 4, and then the series ending in Minnesota in Game 5, where the Minnesota Lynx will beat the Connecticut Sun. So Connecticut will lose the series, in my opinion, but I do have them winning tomorrow's game. So that's my prediction. It's going to be a hard-fought game. It's probably going to be a game that's determined by about 5 points. It's probably a 5-point affair, where the Connecticut Sun will win. I as I said earlier about the Aces and the Liberty, I do think that the series will be over tomorrow. I do believe that the New York Liberty will win, and so that's my thing. That is my thing. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, we will see what happens. But either way, guys, I'm excited about it because I love me some women's basketball. It's fun. It's fun to talk about women's basketball. And so I'm excited about it. I am very, very much excited about it, guys. That's basically the stream, guys. But I did want to do a quick side note, real quick. Let's. Oh wait, did I get to your comment? Did you? Or I don't know if. Wait. Uh-oh. I missed some comments. Sorry, Du Jour. I missed some of your comments. Let's get to it. Thank you, Du Jour, for the super chat. Says, when is Asia a free agent? And what do you think the chances we can sweep her? Wait, what? Du Jour says, when is Asia a free agent? And what are the chances we can swap her for JJ? Asia plus Stewie is like so unfair, but tough in New York. LOL, girl can only dream. First, let's answer the chances. let's answer the chances. Pieces. No, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening where Stewie and Asia will be on the same team. Besides the Olympics, I think the Olympics is the only time we will see these two players play on the same team. I don't think the chances are likely at all of Asia going to the New York Liberty. Now, Asia Wilson is a unrestricted free agent in 2026. All right, she is an unrestricted free agent in 2026, and so that will be the earliest time that she could willingly decide to leave. Though they likely will core her if she actually does want to leave. If she wants to leave, they will probably core her. But she is a unrestricted free agent in 2026. All right. But I really don't think Asia Wilson is going anywhere. I think she spends. I think she does like a Candace Parker, where she does almost her entire career with one team, and then maybe for the last year or two before she retires, she leaves and goes somewhere else. Like I don't see her leaving, at least for another, I don't know, I would say maybe 8 more years. in about eight more years, if she still is playing, maybe she leaves to go to another team for a hot second. But other than that, she's staying with the Aces. I don't see her going anywhere. And I think Mark Davis will do whatever in his power to ensure that Asia Wilson stays on the Aces. So I'm just saying. I am just saying. I don't think she goes anywhere. Also, Du Jour says Marina isn't a starter, but she's a closer. So I would say Marina is both a starter and a closer. That's what I would say. However, for the Connecticut Sun, she is not a starter, but she's a closer. For any other team, for any other team that Marina's on, she's a starter. But the way that the Connecticut Sun play, and the way their offense flows and the way that their defense flows, I think it actually works better for the Connecticut Sun for her not to start, but to close. Now, this is not a blanket rule because in general, yes, Marina Mabrey should be starting on just about any other team, but the Connecticut Sun, she doesn't have to. It actually, because they're a team that always starts slow and it's fine for the most part, right? They're a team that starts slow and they're ultimately still able to win games because their defense is so great. Now, for just about any other team, that does not work, right? Because other teams, like the Connecticut Sun and the Minnesota Lynx are the best defensive teams in the league, right? So that's kind of That's kind of my thoughts on that front. She is a closer, period. But for the Connecticut Sun, I think it works better for her not to start and just be the closer. Whereas on any other team, she's both the starter and the closer. So hopefully that logic makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. But anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Guys, before I go, I do want to talk about the Joker. Has anybody watched the Joker movie yet? Has anybody watched that? I watched it yesterday. My dad wanted to watch it. I did not know that there was a Joker movie coming out, mainly because I don't watch TV. I only watch sports on TV, and I saw no trailer for it. I saw no commercials for it. I had no idea that that there was even a Joker movie. But I guess he saw a preview on TV and he wanted to go watch it. So we went to go watch it yesterday. So instead of watching the WNBA playoffs, I went. That movie has to be the worst movie I've ever watched in my life. Definitely the worst movie I've ever watched in theaters. Hands down, the worst movie I watched in theaters. That movie was terrible. All right. And to be honest with you, like when I think about Joker, the Joker is a mentally deranged person, right? You know, he's crazy. He enjoys people suffering. Like he's a weird guy, right? So I was expecting, the normal Joker weirdness, right? And I told one of my coworkers that I was like, hey, I'm gonna go watch Joker, and they were like, oh, Lady Gaga's in there, and I was like, what? Lady Gaga? What is she doing in the Joker? Because again, guys, before I watched the movie, I didn't know anything about this movie. I didn't know that it was actually happening. I just knew that my dad wanted to watch it, and we was gonna go watch it on Friday. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't see nothing. I knew nobody who was in it, but my coworker was like, "Oh, Lady Gaga's in there," and so I was like, "What? Why is Lady Gaga in it?" And then they said, "Oh, she's playing Harley Quinn," and I was like, "What? Harley Quinn? How is she playing Harley Quinn? Because I actually like Harley Quinn, the character." I was like, "How is she playing her?" But I was like, I'm not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna check anything out. But I have it in my head now. Oh, Lady Gaga's in this movie. That's weird. Okay. And then we go to the movie, sit down with my popcorn and everything, and I am like, I'm sitting there, and then they start singing, and I was like, okay, why are they singing? Like, what's going on? Why are they singing? Okay, whatever. And basically the entire movie is the guy's in prison in a mental institution. This is after he's killed all those people, killed a bunch of people. He's in a mental institution, and the whole movie is the guy is struggling. The Joker is struggling on if the Joker is his real identity or not. That's the whole thing. Like the whole movie, he is in prison, in a mental ward, I think. And he is struggling about, is he Arthur or is he the Joker? Who killed all those people? Was it the Joker or was it Arthur? And are these two the same people or are they different people? That was his struggle. Okay. The whole movie ends up meeting Harley Quinn. They're singing, "Come On, Get Happy," and and so he meets her, and it is the whole movie was weird. There was so much singing in this movie. And guys, I did not, again, I didn't see anything about the movie before I went in. I didn't know this was a musical. I had no idea. There was so much music, and I was just like, and my dad didn't know either. None of us knew that this movie was going to be a musical. None of us knew. And they just kept singing song after song, and I was just like, and when Lady Gaga would start to sing a song, I was just like, oh my God. Like, can we stop? Can we stop with these songs? Can we stop with these songs? It was so bad. It was such a bad movie. And it was weird. It was depressing. It was confusing. And I gotta tell you guys, it was a waste of time. The movie was crazy long. I ended up, guys, I went to a movie theater that had refills on the popcorn. And guys, I'm not a person who usually gets up at movies. I usually do not get up. When I go to a movie, I sit in my seat until the movie's over. All right? I don't get up for nothing. But it got to the point where it was towards halfway into the movie where Lady Gaga started to sing another song, and I was like, okay, I'm getting some more popcorn. I had to go and get some popcorn because I was just like, this don't make no sense. Like it was too much. It was too much. And I think, here's my thing about this movie. I think that this movie, the way it was styled, is they basically took the idea of the Joker and the idea of Harley Quinn, and they stripped all of the fun. They sucked all of the fun and all of the interesting stuff out of the Joker. It was all out. They took it all out, and they went for this sort of artsy-fartsy kind of like weird, like, they're pondering about their lives. Like he's pondering about his life, and it made me think that this is what smart people think is a good movie. That's what this movie was. It's what smart people think is a good movie. It was not a good movie. It was a terrible movie. I think regular normal people will not like this movie at all. They'll be confused. They'll think it's weird. They'll think it's strange. But artsy people, the rich and fancy people, like they'll be like, oh, this was so profound and this was so, XYZ, but like not regular people. Like it was just weird. Like it was weird, guys. And I really didn't like the movie. I really didn't. Like, Lady Gaga could sing, and the guy who was playing Joker, yeah, he could sing too, but no one thinks about the Joker and thinks, hey, why not take the Joker and add High School Musical to it? Let's make a Disney Channel depressing version of the Joker and High School Musical. It was weird. And then the ending was absolute trash. I'm not going to tell y'all the ending, but the ending was absolute trash. And it was like when the credits came on, I was like, is that it? That's the movie? And then we sat and watched like the first half of the credits thinking that, oh, like Marvel, they're going to have like something that's going to come up after the credits that's going to explain more. No. It was terrible. It was really, really terrible. If you are a art person, if you're a person who loves pondering about movies, and you just love the thought process about movies and the fantasy versus reality juxtaposition that movies have, if that's your thing, this movie is for you. If you just want to go to a theater, pay your money, and be entertained, This is not an entertaining movie. It's not. It's not an entertaining movie at all. It's not. Lady Gaga's talented. She can sing her butt off. She absolutely can. But this was not an entertaining movie. The guy, was it Joaquin Phoenix or whatever? He is a very talented singer. This was not an entertaining movie. It wasn't. The whole movie, I was like, man, there's Lady Gaga singing the song to this guy. Not once in the movie did I think she was actually Harley Quinn. Not once in the movie. Not once in the movie did I actually think that she was anybody other than Lady Gaga. Not once. It was not a good movie. It wasn't. So if y'all want to go see it, there's your disclaimer. If you like artsy fartsy stuff, if you like you gonna like this movie. If you are a person who goes to an art show and looks at what looks to regular people like blobs on a canvas, and you're like, oh man, that's very, you ponder on it for a long time and you're very like into it. If that's you, you're gonna like this movie. But if you are someone like me who gets confused by that type of stuff, who has an attention span that does not like, musicals unless they're fun, you're not gonna like the movie. So that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on that. De Jour says, thanks, Quita, you saved me $15. Yeah, it was not a good movie. It wasn't. And it's sad because I was like, man, what was this? Oh, my dad hated it. He hated the movie. Like, he didn't like it. He didn't like the movie. No. He didn't like it. He said it was a good thing your mama didn't come. She really wouldn't have liked this movie. Yeah, didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. And I think it felt like we were probably the only ones in the theater who didn't know what the movie was really about. And didn't look up anything. It was just, oh, the Joker. The Joker's always fun. Let's go see the Joker. And it felt like everybody else in the theater, it seemed like a lot of them liked the movie. The theater was not packed at all, but it seemed like a lot of them, at least either they liked it or they at least knew what they were expecting. They knew what to expect, and we did not. So we were just, the whole time we were just like, what? When did this become a musical? Because none of us knew. We didn't know. We didn't know, guys. So next time I go to a movie, I am going to make sure to watch the trailer. And I'm going to look it up to see what it's all about. Because I was thoroughly disappointed. And to think, guys, I missed watching the WNBA playoffs live to go to this. I missed the playoffs live so I could watch that terrible, terrible movie. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Because we could have talked about this game yesterday. But couldn't do it because I was at the movies. I was at the movies watching a terrible film. Terrible film. Terrible, terrible film. The answer says the trailer didn't show it as a musical. Oh, it didn't? Oh, well then I guess that wouldn't have helped me either. I had no idea it was a musical. No idea. Just up there confused. Like, why? After the first song, I'm like, okay, well, not that, whatever. Song, like, there's songs in movies sometimes. But as the songs kept going on and on and on and on and on, it was just like, ugh. And it's fine if it was happy. Like, the movie was like, it was depressing. Like the Joker was depressed basically the entire movie. He was depressed. And then once he decided that he didn't want to be the Joker anymore, Harley Quinn leaves him. Lady Gaga's like, no, you're not crazy enough for me. Like, that's basically what it was. She was like, cause like, he had his trial or whatever, and she would show up to his trial, and then his lawyer was like, she doesn't care about you, and blah blah blah. And then he fires his lawyer, and then he becomes his own lawyer. Then he dresses up like the Joker, and then he has this epiphany. He has this epiphany that he doesn't want to be the Joker anymore. He wants to be Arthur. And somebody bombs the courthouse. He gets out, and then he finds Harley Quinn, aka Lady Gaga, and is like, basically like, oh, well, we can go to the mountains. And she's like, no, I want to be here. I want to do crazy stuff. You're too sane for me. You want to be Arthur now. I don't want Arthur. I want the Joker. That's what I want. That movie was terrible. It was trash. I am very sad that I watched it. It was not good. It was not a good movie. So that is my opinions about the movie. But it could very well be that I am just not smart enough for this movie. That's probably what this is. This is a situation where I think that movie is for artsy people. It's for wealthy people. It's for very, very smart people. I think those people will probably like the movie. As a regular person, I didn't like the movie. It was not good. End of story. If y'all like the movie, let me know in the comments. Did y'all like it? I didn't like it at all. At all. All right. Well, it doesn't have to be happy, but like at least entertaining. Like this was not entertaining. Like Joker 2 was not entertaining at all. It was not entertaining. It wasn't entertaining. Vera says, Quitty, can you review movies? I mean, I'm reviewing this one, so yeah, it was trash. It was very trash. Yeah, maybe I should review movies. Is this good enough for the regular person, or do you have to be fancy to watch this movie? Fancy people need apply. Normal people do not apply and watch this movie. Belinda says, thanks for the review. If I want to hear Lady Gaga sing, I will go to a concert. Facts. CAC says, Quita, you are smart. Everybody hates this movie. Mike, the issue is not the acting. So Mike says the actors were supposed to be good actors. I don't think the issue was the acting. The issue was the script. That was the issue. I think that the guy who played the Joker, I mean, he definitely looked the part. You know, the guy got extremely skinny for it. Like you can see his bones and everything. Like the acting wasn't totally an issue. It was the writing of the movie. It was the writing that was the issue. It was the script that was the problem. I mean, I don't think it mattered who you put to act that same script. It will still not be good. Right? It's not the actors. The movie was a bad idea. The script was bad. It was. And you put some good actors on there, and it's still bad. All right? So, those are my thoughts on the new Joker movie. It sucked. It did. But, it's over. Now I know to be more vigilant and look at some reviews or something before watching a movie, because clearly I didn't like what I saw. I did not like what I saw. But anyway, guys, that's the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. if y'all came on mid rant and is like, what is she talking about? Why is she talking about the Joker movie? It's because I already went through the basketball games already. I already went through the basketball games. So if y'all can rewind earlier to watch that. But yeah, I already went through it. Y'all just laughing at me. Y'all just laughing. Riz says rate 1 through 10, Quita. Yeah, this is a I want to say this is a 2. This is a 2. This is a 2. 2 out of 10. It was no, I mean, and the reason why it was 2 out of 10 is because they are good singers. They are. And there, actually, no, I would say a 3 out of 10. I would say a 3 out of 10 because there was a particular part, like when the courtroom got bombed and like that whole like sequence, that was actually cool. But everything else was bad. So yeah, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 for the new Joker movie. Yeah, it was bad. It was very, very bad. Don't waste your money. Do not waste your money. Unless you're going for free, and that's a different story. But if you're paying to go, do not pay your money. Don't pay your money to watch that game. To watch that movie. All right? The movie was not made by DC. It was not made by DC. I think that's why it was bad. It was not made by DC. Because the movie is called is Joker Folly Ado. It was not made by DC. That is exactly why the movie was bad. It's based on, DC Comics, but I don't believe DC produced it. So, yeah. Anyway, it's bad. And then a lot of other people think it's bad. It got a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But it is what it is. So yeah, that's my thoughts about the movie. What do y'all think about the movie? I am very much curious to hear what y'all think about it. Let me know in the chat. The movie was not produced by DC. It is based off of a DC comic, but like the movie was produced by a joint effort. It wasn't produced by DC, which is why I think it was the way it was. If it was produced by DC, I think it'd be a lot better of a movie. But yeah, anyway, that's that. Anyway, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Sorry for this rant. But if y'all do want to hear about basketball, rewind to the earlier parts. Basically, the Las Vegas Aces had a blitz, a defensive blitz against Sabrina Ionescu, which enabled them to win Game 3. We are going to a Game 4 for that one. It is happening tomorrow, and the game should be on ABC. And so, yeah. I will be going live tomorrow. I will be going live for both games. So again, the Aces win versus the New York Liberty today, 95-81. Huge defensive effort by this team, really shutting down Sabrina and ultimately shutting down just about everybody else. Jonquel Jones was in foul trouble basically the entire game. We saw Tiffany Hayes get the 6th Woman of the Year award, which was awesome. And Alicia Clark had foul trouble as well, but this team had the effort. Asia Wilson did her thing. We also saw Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, and Chelsea Gray all get in their offensive bag, and that's exactly what this team needed them to do. So it was Asia Wilson plus the guards that were doing their thing in the game. We also saw the Minnesota Lynx take down the Connecticut Sun. This is a game where The Connecticut Sun, they were just hitting their shots. They were hitting their shots, getting good looks at the basket, and we saw a really, really bad overall defensive effort for the Connecticut Sun. This is something that they really do need to get together. Either they need to get their legs back and sit down on defense, or they need to score a lot more points. They got to pick one. They got to pick one in order to win. I do have the New York Liberty beating the Aces in the final in the game tomorrow. So it will end in 4 games, in my opinion. So the New York Liberty will win tomorrow, in my opinion. We're going to have a great game by Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart. I think both of those players are going to get in at least 20 points apiece and are really going to dominate. The New York Liberty are going to figure out how to get Sabrina going early. They're going to dump it down to Brianna Stewart, have her take the ball up like they did for a hot second. And I think it was game 2 that either game 1 or game 2 that Brianna Stewart was bringing the ball up and was initiating offense. I think they bring that back to give more opportunities for Sabrina Ionescu off the basketball. Maybe they also consider starting Courtney Vandersloot again, so that way you can have Sabrina be off the ball and have more opportunities that way. So that's my thoughts on that. Ultimately, I do think that the New York Liberty will win. For the Minnesota Lynx versus the Connecticut Sun for game 4, I do have Connecticut winning game 4. I do think that in order for them to win, my recommendation is that Murray Mabry, she ends up coming off the bench, because I do think that that'll be way more successful for this team in the long run. So having Marina come off the bench and having either Veronica Burton to start as the PG, or if Ty Harris feels well enough, Ty Harris for the starting nod, and having Marina come off the bench and really lighting it up. Really getting DeWanna Bonner going early from the 3-point line, and having Dejanay Carrington continue to go downhill. We saw Brianna Jones have a fantastic game 3. We need her to have a similar fantastic game 3 on the offensive end. And defensively, this Connecticut Sun team has to get better on defense. There were times where maybe they would play good defense for about 20 seconds and then mess up at the end, and that's an issue. They have to stay home and play the swarming defense that they usually play. This Minnesota Lynx team played beautiful basketball in game 3. If they play beautiful basketball in game 4, they're winning. All right. The Connecticut Sun needs to make the Minnesota Lynx play horrible, ugly basketball. They need to grind this game out, because when the Connecticut Sun grinds games out, those are when they win. All right. So those are my thoughts on that front. But I did go way more into detail earlier in the stream. So if y'all just joined, sorry about that long rant about a movie that most of y'all are probably not going to see. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all so much for rocking with me, guys. I do have channel memberships. They are now a thing on the channel. So please consider being a member of the YouTube channel by joining memberships. That would be really, really awesome. If y'all want to do that, y'all can. But no worries if you don't. That is all good. I'm just looking for ways that you all can support if you want to. Also, we're still on Patreon if you all want to support there. You can either do one or the other. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get the Patreon folks over to YouTube as channel members. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for your support. And guys, I will see y'all in the next one. I'll see y'all tomorrow, guys. Where we will watch a fantastic set of games. So I hope y'all are ready. Hope y'all are ready. Tomorrow on ABC, we have Game 4s. It's about to happen. Who's going to come out? Who's going to come out of the series with the victory, and who is going with their ticket punched to the WNBA finals? That's the question. Who's it gonna be? Who is it going to be? I'm interested to find that out. Shout out to Unaided Foot, who just joined the channel as a member. Welcome, Unaided Foot. You are officially an awesome person. I wanted to name it Awesome Person of the Internet, but it was way too long for the text box. So I had to shorten it with Awesome Person. So shout out to you, Unaided Foot. Thank you. It looks like you are the first to join the Awesome Person, or Awesome People of the Internet, but I couldn't say Awesome People of the Internet because it was too long. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for that. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. As always, be kind to people. Tell somebody that they matter, because they do. And guys, if no one has told you that you matter, you do matter. You're important, and I am happy that you are on this earth, guys. I love you, and until tomorrow, see y'all later. Bye-bye.